Awesome. So yeah, I'm Steve. Play keyboard, synth, piano in Belakor. We've been a band for about 20 years now. I think it's coming up to 20 years. And yeah, melodic death metal, progressive melodic death metal from Melbourne. Fifth album came out late last year, Coherence, and we're looking forward to hitting the road in August to play some shows.
Beautiful, Steve. Thanks for joining us this afternoon, mate.
Pleasure. Thanks for your time.
All right, man. So as we mentioned, Belakor are heading out on the road next month with the Coherence tour that starts in Adelaide on August the 6th, then goes through Brisbane, Melbourne and Canberra before finishing in Sydney on August the 27th, mate. So what can fans expect from you guys on the shows?
Look, it has been a while. It's been about 6 or 7 years since we played in Australia.
Oh, wow.
That's too long. So hopefully the people who are still fans and remember us and, have waited that long can look forward to hearing some songs they know well and a few new ones. I think we're playing a slightly longer set than we've ever played before. So that should be good. We feel like it's an important thing to kind of give people a set that's of a decent length. So yeah, looking forward to getting out there.
Cool. And then how come you haven't played in Australia for that long? Maybe we concentrated overseas a lot more, or we just didn't get the opportunity?
Bit of everything, I think. A bit of COVID. COVID took care of 2 years worth of that time. And then we always tend to not tour much while we're writing albums. So writing Coherence, that's probably another 2 years of time where we just weren't touring as much. A couple of the guys have had children, so young families keep us busy. A whole bunch of factors that just probably added up to suddenly some time has passed a bit more quickly than we expected.
So but these are actually going to be your first run of shows since everyone was allowed out to play again, are they?
Pretty much for us, it is. Yeah, definitely. We've not played anything since the album came out and since COVID anywhere. So yeah, really good. Finally, able to play the songs.
Yeah. What sorts of things do you do to stay match fit when you're not out on the road? I guess because it's not an easy life.
I think we are lucky in some ways that we're not doing a tour that's kind of physically grueling, where it's hours and hours every day on buses and multiple cities in a row across weeks and weeks. It's kind of a manageable tour where we're doing it on weekends and so on. And then to be ready for the shows themselves, we're just rehearsing a lot now that we can. There was a period where we couldn't meet up and get ready for the tour, which is one of the reasons it was delayed. But yeah, meeting up twice a week, jamming, playing the set list and trying to get as tight as we can.
Read through your press release, mate. Like it refers to your live shows as towering and immersive. Like that sounds fantastic, but what does it actually mean?
Someone did a good job with that marketing, didn't they?
What would you reckon?
I think, look, our songs are long and they're big, and there's a lot of layers to them. So I think the towering part's really just saying they're big bits of music with a big atmosphere to them. I think, have worked on our live show to make sure that can be the case when people come and see us live. And we do occasionally add little bits of atmospheric stuff as well on top of what we're performing to really fill the sound out. Immersive, again, I think the length of the songs and the melodies of the songs, we hear people tell us they get kind of lost in the stories that the songs tell. But it's up to the individual to kind of decide if we've been fair in using those words to describe it.
You mentioned the atmospheric side of your shows, mate. Like, is it actually difficult to create an atmosphere through music on stage?
I think it is. I think it does depend on the genre. And I think, black metal would be an example to me of a genre that would be even harder to do live and create the atmosphere. Because to me, a good black metal album is about a certain mood. Often the production is not very good, but that's actually what you want for a black metal album. And I think I've not yet been to a black metal show that feels as immersive and atmospheric as the album, because I think it's hard to do. So I think in death metal, you can achieve it a bit more easily. A lot of it's about aggression and speed and energy and volume. So you can do that live really well. So yeah, I think we'll see how we go. I think hopefully we can create an atmosphere people will enjoy.
And as we say, man, like the tour is for last year's album, Coherence, that came out in October. So even though it's not far off being 1 year old, mate, does it still feel fresh to the band because you haven't really been able to do much with it?
Absolutely, it does. I think that's a really good point. Like, it doesn't really feel at all like it's been that long since it came out to me. And partly, you're probably right. The fact that we haven't had that chance yet to actually perform it for people means it still doesn't feel as fully released you know, like part of it's still ours. We haven't gone and played it yet for people. So I think you're right. It still feels quite fresh to me.
Yeah. How much of that album are you actually going to be playing on tour?
So we argued a lot about this in the band. I think some of the guys were pushing for more and others for less. We've settled on 2 to 3 songs from Coherence. You know, they're all 7 to 10 minutes long, the songs. And then, you know, 5 to 6 to 7 songs from our other albums to kind of get the set list over an hour, well over an hour. But yeah, I think it's always hard because I've been a fan that you've gone to see bands before and they haven't played some of your favorite songs. They've played too many new ones and it just doesn't quite feel right. So it's a bit of a balancing act.
That's got to be kind of hard too, like when you've got songs that are a bit longer in length like that, because as you mentioned, like you're only playing 7 or 8 songs and people are going to be disappointed whether
Exactly.
you're or not.
I think we've got sort of 35 to 40 songs now.
Wow.
We can only play 8 probably if in a gig, I reckon. So we really have to pick and choose and do the best we can.
Yeah. And you're going to be taking Orpheus Omega and Andy Gillian on the road with you for all shows, mate. So why those two?
Well, we've known Orpheus for years. I reckon it's probably like 8 years or something. And I'd say they're one of the other big melodic death metal bands in Melbourne who just works really hard. They've got a lot of albums out. They've toured. I think they've toured more than we have. So they've got a fan base. They are hardworking and high energy show. And we get on really well with them. And then Andy Gillian was just an opportunity that came up through Destroy All Lines where they said, look, would you be interested? And we were like, for sure we would, because he's well regarded, got a bit of a reputation. Obviously, a lot of people in Australia haven't had the chance. I think he hasn't played live as Andy Gillian before. So it's going to be exciting for people to actually come and hear him. And I think people who like Mors Principium Est, his previous band, obviously will be interested as well.
I'm glad you said that band name because I wasn't going to try it.
It's tough one.
And you're also giving local bands a shot at all the shows as well, mate. Like, is that sort of your way of giving back to the scene, I guess?
I think it's important. You know, every band starts that way. And it's important for a lot of reasons. It's important because they will, you know, help to make each local show feel local as well and bring people who care about them to those shows. I think it's good for cross-exposing bands, you know, their fans hearing our stuff and our fans hearing their stuff to help them grow as bands as well. So, yeah, lots of reasons to do it and no reasons not to do it. And then we were lucky enough to get some help, really, from Destroy All Lines and actually choosing which bands, because it is hard. I think we're finding it hard to keep track of what is actually happening in the scene locally now, in the same way we probably were a bit better at that 10, 15, 20 years ago. So yeah, Dale was really good at helping us to pick some bands that would hit the mark and be well suited to the shows.
So once this tour is over, mate, is that the album cycle complete for Coherence?
Depends what you call, how you define the cycle. I think no, probably, because we are planning a European and a US tour as well. The reality will be that those actually are spread out over another 12 to 18 months beyond this tour. But they'll still be in support of the Coherence album. So I think it's just a slightly drawn out cycle, really.
Beautiful. All right, Steve. Well, thanks for your time tonight, mate. The Coherence tour kicks off in Adelaide on August the 6th. So where can people find out more info and get tickets, mate?
I think it's destroyalllines.com is the place to go. You can also go to belakorband.com.
Beautiful.
Yeah, hopefully people can jump on. I think some of the shows are sort of 80% sold out. So, you know, if we can get people grabbing their tickets now, we might get some sellouts, which should be really exciting.
Oh, yeah, mate. Best of luck for that, mate. Hopefully you get it. And thanks for your time, bro.
Cheers. Thanks very much, Chris.